All right, guys. Hello, and welcome to the Phoenix Smite League. Today we will be broadcasting two matches today. We are playing The Unknowns versus Plat and Duel. I'm Gingy, and my co-caster, Josh. Go ahead and talk, baby.
Greetings, citizens. Welcome.
Uh, Basically, a good matchup, I'd say. These guys, I think, have played before, off-stream at least. And I know that they both have some pretty great players that are looking to make a name for themselves, at least.
Yeah, definitely. That's just what this whole league is about, right? Just trying to get up and make a name for yourself and get into a good position, just to maybe be picked up by a better team or, maybe just continue on and improve as a team.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I know that this league in itself is definitely, a good starting point for most teams to get into like challenger circuits or the combine or anything like that. So I'm hoping to see some hopeful gameplay, I think is the word.
Yeah, no, most definitely. But it is just this the whole idea of the Phoenix Might League is amazing and wonderful, but there's going to be rough roads. However, as we get into the draft here, going to have
Yes.
Plat in Duel on Chaos side and The Unknowns on Order side.
All right, so run me through a couple picks. If you're on order, what are you prioritizing? Because I know you get the first pick and hopefully something valuable to your team.
I would say for the most part, you're looking for that super strong all-around character. Like, generally speaking, like Scotty is an incredibly strong first pick. Sylvanas is very strong. Just a character that is difficult to deal with, but will also provide you with a good game plan to go down on. Thanatos' first pick is going to be. It's an interesting first pick considering he's kind of fallen off since it's just the early game aggression and the fact what he brings to a team fight is rather lackluster.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I think personally Sylvanas is, in my opinion, the top pick. Uh, but you know, whatever. People value Thanatos over some things. It's all right.
I would say to an extent he can be a first pick, but other characters like Cabrakan has kind of risen to being that top first pick, first ban character, which I'm surprised is not really isn't first picked by either of these teams. It's kind of surprising. I guess neither teams really have that character in their god pools.
Yeah, for sure. Now, going through the Wheelix van, what do you think? Do you think someone on their team is like super strong with the Wheelix, or that's kind of an odd first ban to get rid of?
No, yeah, definitely. I think it's just the logic is probably just it's an incredibly strong level one and level two character, likely the strongest outside of maybe Thanatos. So they want to just try and snowball this early lead, most likely. And Awilix is very strong at countering that snowball in this early game. But picking up a Toth, kind of going to be on the opposite end of that whole snowball of lead in the early game. But Athena with that global presence could be incredibly impactful with Thanatos dunks and into a Toth combo. So the Will Expand is still incredibly interesting considering characters like Hunbots and Terra are still up.
Right, right. Um, so I gotta be completely honest. I'm not in the match right now. Just kind of going off stream to see everything. I don't know what's going on. It won't load me in, but get that figured out soon enough.
It's all right. We can just run through it. It's fine.
And Toth, Athena, Thanatos, and Humbet's Terra, Medusa. Who do you think has the better 3v3 comp there?
I would say as of right now, early game, I don't know. It's hard to say until like a lot of this is going to have to be where is the Thanatos starting? Where is the Athena starting? Is this Terra actually a support? Is it for the solo?
Yeah, I
But I'd
mean,
say for the most part, early game slightly favors the Thanatos side simply because he is a Thanatos and Hunbots' level 1 is not as strong. However, in that mid game timing with the Hunbots and being able to get that pressure off with his ult on cooldown with Terra ults and Medusa ults for team fights could be incredibly strong for them.
for sure, for sure. Still trying to get into this match. Being a little difficult.
Looking at the bans coming up, we have a Ymir ban. It's interesting, just trying to take away that solo, potential support options, even though there is an Athena on the table. Could be some weird in scrims in the past. Athena, they have played Athena solo. But it's very interesting. Poseidon ban is just a very strong mid ban, considering how incredibly powerful he is right now. His team fight is amazing. His early game is amazing. And considering they have their own mid laner already, respectable ban.
Right, right. All right, so I finally got into the match. Just tell me when you go to the actual game for me.
Finishing out, just going to try and finish out the draft here. Odin ban, and as well as Zeus being banned out. Oh, very interesting considering Zeus is just strong character right now. Odin ban, incredibly strong against the Terror, so it's very strong.
Yeah, it is, I mean, I think it was good counterplay on their measure. You don't really want to be locked down, especially Athena taunt inside a cage. You're just gonna be stuck. There's no moving out of it, and you're just kind of left to die there for a Toth to line up everything on his abilities for you.
Oh yeah, and then moving into the later stages of picks and bans, finally, we have Neath and Kabrakin rounding out their comp. It's going to be the Kabrakin pick kind of goes in the same vein with an Odin, except it's not negating that healing. And as I said, Kabrakin is incredibly strong right now, and it's surprising that this character wasn't picked up earlier in the draft. And Erlang, Shen, and Janus being drafted to round out their comp. Janus not the strongest mid laner right now. He's kind of fallen off since the global. Plus, there are characters like Poseidon and Zeus still available. But as we try and move into game here, we will attempt to make sure that we are all synchronized. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Alright guys, welcome to The Unknowns versus Plat in Duel. Should be an interesting matchup here as taking a look at the picks and where these picks are going, as some of these characters could be flexed between the two. We have Terra being run in the jungle or solo lane, excuse me, by Jacob Mason. Party person 123 on the Hun bots in the jungle. Well, Jabberjaw's OG running the Janus is in the mid lane. Erlang Shen being run support by Tough Luck, and King Din running that Medusa ADC.
Yeah, so nothing too crazy coming out for the starts here. Basically just go into their designated spots. A little bit of a fight going out and getting that pressure started.
Now, yeah, I think a lot of this early game level 1 has turned into dual lane. If both dual lanes are starting there, is try and get this early aggression, get this early poke onto one another, and then try to get the better wave here, as Lone Wolf is taking a lot of damage here. Meanwhile, in mid-jungle, looks like The Unknowns wanted to go for that invade with the Thanatos, but not going to be able to due to the even wave clear in mid.
Can you tell me what time you're at? Sorry.
We're at 1 minute in, good sir. Early game is just turning into a lot of just poke battles right now and securing them both. With Plat and Duel is looking for this dual lane invade onto the purple buff, and the unknown securing the red buff.
I am on to you.
Alright, sorry about that, guys. We're having some technical difficulties.
Alright.
I need just quick pause, try and figure them out. We'll be right back.
Alright, I think I got all synced up now. I don't know what's going on. Never done this.
Alright guys, welcome back. Apologies for the technical delays. Should be all sorted out now as we get back into game here.
Yeah. Alright, so when we left off, dual lane fight was breaking out. Medusa getting very close to death actually, but no kills were actually being able to be found there. And it looks like that blue team will head over towards the purple buff and secure it as well.
Yeah, a good body block coming out of Tough Luck there to try and keep the Medusa alive from the death scythe.
For sure. And, you know, besides Toth 1 being able to go through everything, that 2 is a little bit harder to hit on multiple, as well as, you know, it only being a singular stun now instead of a multiple man hitting. So, great stuff coming out from Red Team.
Oh yeah, Janet's behind you. They're gonna met up. So Toth going for that stun, but he's gonna be able to port her out.
That was a beautiful portal, just barely evading the taunt coming out from Athena there.
Yeah, most definitely. Hunbots is level 5. He's looking for a gank onto this Kraken on the right-hand side. He is out of mana.
And ult coming out now. Kraken doesn't have much of escape. Terra's stun coming through. Oh, an unfortunate Sacred Monkey as he will teleport to a minion. Kraken looks like he will be safe under tower. Huge misplay coming out from party person 123. Quite unfortunate teleport. Oh,
Just the combination of the Mark of the Vanguard and Kraken passive giving him so much mitigation from all of Hunbots' damage is just, it was just insane.
for sure, but I mean, that should have been a kill had the 3 connected the way he wanted it to.
If they had also Terra ulted just beforehand, they could have been able to get a kill. Meanwhile,
And a
first
solo kill coming out. Wow.
Hand side, Kinged in with the solo kill. Medusa ult, able to secure that kill.
So, a little bit of farming going on in mid right now. Toth and Athena grouping up. Actually, Humbats and Terra securing the elementals right now, so a big gold, or not really big, but a minor gold and XP lead in their favor.
But closing in very close on his warrior Tabai, going to be able to pick that up after the speed buff and then get a good power spike. So hopefully on his next ult CD, they should be able to find a kill onto hopefully either this Toth or the Neath. To the main characters that he should be focusing out, especially the Toth, because Toth just scales so ridiculously well into the late game.
For sure. You know, just looking at farm, setting up right here. No one is really getting out of hand here. But one thing I do notice about this whole map coverage, as we do see a speed buff invade, is Red Team has put so many wards down, as you can see in this top right sector of the map. They got 3 wards there, as well as a deep ward in the middle of the lane. So it's going to be kind of hard for Blue Team to find any objectives of their own if they have this vision coverage. As we see, Terra ult breaking out, despite gonna disengage though. I think that Terra ult was more of just a safety precaution.
Yeah, used to just disengage. Kraken was rotating in there, so it could have gotten very dangerous. But yeah, coming back to the wards, those are very defensive wards, which is very surprising as it is a Terra, and they have had map pressure for the most part, so kind of surprising. Janus going to be rotating to the right-hand side. They want to look for a fight.
Terra also having an easy time escape there with that Mark of the Vanguard. But they're actually going to collapse on the Thanatos and Kraken. A huge Humbat ult coming out. And that'll be a double kill for Jabberjaw's OG on that Giannis. Great Unstable Vortex coming out to clean up both kills there.
Yeah, well placed to be able to hit both of them, as well as the Fear No Evil able to set up the Bracken. And Toth could be chased down here. Party person is going to be diving Terror.
Athena will be extended in hopes of saving him, but it's not good. Actually, it will be. Med coming in clutch. Oh, so unfortunate. Gonna die, unfortunately, to the Humbat's overhand smash.
Tough Luck is getting Neath ulted. He might die to this, and he will.
Oh, he will. Tough break for Red there.
Party person getting a bit too overconfident. Sure, you got a couple of kills, and it would be great to get that kill, but unfortunately, you may have gotten it, but at what cost? It was far too not worth. And Tough Luck actually canceled his turtle form, 72 transformations, and so he didn't actually kill the Toth, so they had to stay around a little longer. Party person to take a couple more tower shots, so unfortunate overall.
That Tothel did come out and do a decent chunk of damage on them, so it's kind of hard to. I don't know if that was the right play, because they did have the kills. I think it was just an even better play coming out from the Unknowns with that amazing Athena ult into a med to save Toth just long enough to get a ult out to get the damage out.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The mitigation coming in very handily there, but overall, they still did win the fight. It was a 3-for-2 trade, and Oracle's going to be contested here. These could be very important. Terrell kind of coming out very early. They could look for a fight.
Securing him. Giannis in a bit of a pickle as we do see Toth lane on damage in the back, and yep, that'll be a death for
Unstable
actually
Vortex doing so
Thanatos.
much damage.
Yeah,
Janus
it's just
is getting very, very big. This is very scary. He's 3 levels ahead. Kingdom getting solo on the left-hand
solo.
side.
Interesting. We saw Medusa solo King Din, or I'm sorry, Lone Wolf, and then Lone Wolf actually solo King Din. So interesting how that works out.
Just battle of the duo lane, both of them being able to pick one another off. But this Janus is just, he's 3-0 already. He has a 2-level lead and a decent net worth lead over this Toth. So he's going to be incredibly dangerous moving forward.
Yeah, and I mean, I was expecting, you know, a very favorable build for Giannis right now is that Doomlord start, which would be paying off huge dividends in this game, but I do like the safer start and hopes it comes up. Because I hold that thought. Thanatos ult will be coming out, Giannis ult will be extended. A Lava Escape going on to Giannis, he will get out with his own portal, and Humbat's ult going on into the blue. It's not going to do much. Toth ult connecting with Humbat's not enough damage, as we do see a slow disengage coming out from both sides.
Now, yeah, without the Janus there to deal damage, they don't have the damage to really break through that Kabrak and Athena's. So they're going to be forced to back off, and overall it was a good disengage from the Unknowns. They weren't able to secure their speed up, and meanwhile, mid lane, Thanatos caught
staying
out.
way too long. He's going to get caught out by Humbats here with the slow, and then the Erlang to connect for the kill.
Yep. Been able to secure the kill, and for the most part, Plat and Duel, they're coming out on top. They're on the Unknowns buff timers, taking away all their farm. They have good decent ward coverage for the most part, and they're going to actually have a Gold Fury call here.
I think this is a great call. They know Tothel is down, and they also do have the damage with the XP lead on their side, so I don't think there will be much contention here as they do secure it, and now they look towards Toth. Medusa will coming out, securing the kill onto Living Fear as they chase down Neath right now. Dino ult going to be used, but that's just more safety. Actually, a huge taunt coming in. May secure the Erlang. He will. Oh, Red team is solo, and there goes King Din as Humbats is going to get chased down by Athena. I don't think it'll be enough as Giannis lands a beautiful portal onto her to make sure that Humbats gets away. But Humbats might put himself in Giannis put himself in a bad place for himself as Thanatos damage is just too strong. And hold that thought, the engagement still lasts as Thanatos will land with his ult on Party Person 123, while Udric's picking up a double kill in that fight. So, Gold Fury goes away Plat and Duel, but 4 kills go on the side of the Unknowns. Is that worth it? Because there were a couple kills given in there. I mean, you tell me.
I would say if the Unknowns is able to take a tier 1 tower here, which they don't have much tower push right now with the Medusa coming in this left lane, I would say yes, it's 100% worth. But due to the exchange that they had with the Neath going down, the Toth going down, unable to get that farm thanks to those 4 kills that they got, but, you know, aggression coming out in this dual lane, not really anything going to be found, but they're going to actually find the mid lane tower, so it will, overall, it is worth, I would say. However, if they weren't able to get that tower, then no, not at all. Gold Fury is way too important right now. That mid tower pressure is so important.
Yeah, that's true. And, you know, mid tower poke is actually huge right now, as Giannis does have the ability to rotate very easily with his ultimate. So Toth getting mid tower, being able to free roam as a little bit easier as a Giannis would, is going to be huge in these upcoming team fights. No, I thought they were going to go for Portal Demon there. Everyone just, you know, backing off, doing their own speed buffs. A little bit of, you know, skirmish going to happen in this dual lane, but nothing too crazy.
This is actually kind of important that they're able to secure the Unknown is able to secure their own buffs. Because they're getting their own farm, and they were trying to Portal Demon, but sorry, Athena Kabrakan, you do not have enough damage to do that.
Absolutely not, especially with Thanatos and Toth have their own agenda of securing these oracles here, which is definitely the better call. But no secure coming out for them as Toth backed off and Thanatos finding himself out in the wrong place again. There is no communication, it seems, on the side of the Unknowns because 3 plays there have been where everyone's just kind of off doing their own thing, which is quite unfortunate. Giannis getting pressured out by the Hieroglyphic Assault, but not going to die there.
Yeah, just Thanatos, he wanted to contest those oracles and get them. They are very important. However, he had no one to follow him up, so he just kind of gets himself caught out by Hunbots and Janus damage, and sadly, Medusa came in for the rotation from behind, so he just dies.
Yeah, it's plays like that where you wonder, how are comms going in these games? Are you calm? Are you collected? Or are you guys just kind of spouting out random information? Hold that thought, as the Thanos Taunt will come out. A decent chunk of damage on the Giannis, but nothing will come out of it. So going back to what I was saying, comms are a huge, important part of this game. What happened there? Thanatos Toth head towards Oracles, while Athena and Kabrakan are on the Portal Demon. But then you see Toth himself back off of his own call for the Oracles. It was just kind of a sketchy team fight to begin with.
We'll have to hold that thought as Thanatos goes onto the left lane here, going to be able to pick up the Medusa. Just baited out, sadly, on that left-hand side by the Neath. Medusa dashed in and trying to get that kill, get aggro, assert dominance, and Janus can
Oh, huge chunk from that death side. Oh my goodness. Beads are also going to come out from Giannis.
Yeah, they're going to get this left-hand tier 1, but on the right-hand side of the map, they're trying to take this Portal Demon. If they're able to secure this, then it's an okay trade, but they don't have the damage to out-secure a Kabrakan Toth here. They need to back off right away.
I think they might be looking for a Toth bait with his ult, but Hunbats is getting a little too low where that ult will kill if it's found on the good spot.
Yeah, the Unknowns is happy to try and trade this out on the left-hand side.
It will go towards
Plat
and Duel.
We'll get it. Meanwhile, left-hand side, the Unknowns is trying to still push that tier 1 tower as this fight now goes on. And not sure really anything to go out. Hunbot's getting chunked down.
Gosh. Kraken is so strong in these early games. It's just that early Guardian base damage that comes out. That's huge in these fights starting. And then we see a Giannis ult coming back in. Thanatos up in the air looking for someone to land on. We'll probably find... No, actually it will be a Unstable Vortex connect with Wacky and then King Din to clean up with a couple basics on Lone Wolf for the win. Overall a 2-for-0 trade. They don't get the T2 and they also get the Portal Demon. So all in all, just a pure domination from that side of Plat and Duel to get everything that they wanted.
Now Plat and Duels is going to pull the Gold Fury. There is almost no possibility that they can test this except for maybe some random top damage going through. And Plat and Duel will be able to secure it, but a lot of damage coming out.
A lot of kills coming from Cab. Basically gets a double kill as Thanatos will chase down Giannis here. Basically also dies, but beautiful portal coming out as Terra and Medusa are going to run down the no mana half health Toth. It's just death from there.
Thanatos is trying to chase him down. He's just gonna slide right on by, but he's gonna be able to find the kill.
Too greedy. Too greedy.
Athena is gonna be able to pick him up in the end.
An unfortunate pathing with that portal.
Again, a long, drawn-out engagement where Plat and Duel, they get the Gold Fury, but they were super grouped for Toth damage, Kabrakan damage, just unnecessarily grouped to take way too much damage from AoE abilities. They
for sure
take the Gold Fury and win the fight in the end. Gonna try and pressure out this left tower, but they don't have the wave clear and the tower push quite yet. Just 2-on-2 right there.
Yeah, I mean, they do find kills in that, so it wasn't horrible, but they're just like, I don't know, there's something about not recognizing your opponent's team comp that's bothering me with this game on their side. They get all these beautiful engagements started up with this Hunbats ult and these Terra ults to give them the sustain, but they don't realize what happens when an Athena taunt into a Kabrakan stun and they have a Toth on their side. Like, it just seems like a no-brainer what's going to happen, but I mean, they are finding the better end of these engagements, so I guess there's something go right for them, just not the cleanest of any fights.
No, yeah, definitely. And now Plat and Duel probably going to start trying to group up, or at least they should be, try and start forcing some more objectives. And left-hand side, King Din going to be forced out, but Party Person is going to get destroyed by Toth and Thanatos damage, and he is
he gets in the air! If he gets out, that's crazy. Oh, wow.
Both going to back out. Thanatos not going to go for that kill, and Janus went for the snipe, but it's not going to connect.
Yeah. So, no kills in that engagement. is getting fairly close. This Thanatos has had some quite close calls.
Mid lane,
Leon's
Living
gonna
Fear almost getting taken down there by the Unstable Vortex. And Terra's here, he has to be careful. And he's gonna just dash away and play it safely, but just gonna take a look at the ward vision here with Fire Giant being up and a potential goes to Plat Unknown's. Tough luck gonna get taunted. He's gonna be fine. And though.
Do be careful.
But for the most part, with the ward vision, there's just no wards on this map. There's a single ward in the mid lane and a single ward at Fire Giant. There's a defensive ward at the blue buff.
Yeah, it's hard to, you know, say who's winning the vision when nobody is. It's kind of iffy on both sides, especially when you have a Thanatos ult that can come in from out of nowhere. Hold that thought though, as Athena's getting pressured by Erlong. Taunt coming out for his ult, but she's so tanky right now. She will get the dash out. They're chasing her down. Portal will connect from Jabberjaw's OG. What a beautiful snipe coming out from him. As Thanatos will go up in the sky and hopefully live from this fight. Neath getting chunked by that Unstable Vortex, as Party Person will find a Fear No Evil, but no kill followed up with it. And it looks like Plat and Duel will be taking down this tier 1 tower in mid.
Herald committed, they want blood, they're gonna look for this Kabrakan and they will find him, and that's gonna be a free tier 2 in mid as well. Party Person just tanking tower right now, has to jump over the wall and heal off this backhand, but Plat and Duel, good fight coming out there. Sadly, the Unknowns just getting chunked out by these Unstable Vortexes that are just on point right now. This Janus has so much damage online right now, and Portal Demon spawning, they could look for that. If they're getting a bit cheeky, they could try for a Fire Giant, but I think they'll just take Portal Demon, gets back with their newfound gold, get an item online, look to try and force an engagement, and Thanatos gonna get caught out here.
Oh my. See, this is the thing. If you don't have wards, you can't be doing that. You know they're there, and you're a Thanatos, no escape. It's just kind of iffy decisions like that that'll lose you a game.
No, yeah, definitely. Just getting picked off is not something that you can afford to do. If you get picked off, that is incredibly bad. Topho going to be fired to try and heal it.
Will connect with Jabberjaws, but will not secure the Portal Demon, as Athena will get ulted by Kingdom there. It's heartbreaking to see a Topho get so close to stealing something like that. It's just, in the end, doesn't secure it. Bracken will be chased.
Will be taken down. Herald committed. They may try and dive this, which would not be a good decision. But they're just going to back off. Terrell, little misused there, but I'd say that's okay for the most part. Tunbots did take a tier 1 on the left-hand side during that engagement, so Plat and Duel able to get a lot of victories going around. They're going to take this tier 1 on the right-hand side and back off, get those power spikes online with their newfound gold lead, and just look to take this Fire Giant. They have an incredibly
Fear No Evil coming out as they take down Thanatos. Once again, it's just the positioning is a little bit off, as you can see from the side of Logix. He's getting the damage out as the Thanatos, but it's not working out the way he's taking his pathing, as Plat and Duel will be starting up this Fire Giant.
And just pick after pick after pick that Plat and Duel get into Fire Giant. This should be a relatively free Fire Giant. Living Fear does not have Toth ult up, but he's gonna look for this damage with the stun, but not gonna be able to find it, and his ult dash is down. He tries to fire with the ult anyways, but it was already taken, sadly. And Wacky and Living Fear will be brought down.
And so, our hero story begins.
It's looking a little grim on side of Plat and Duel. After all of that, actually, Bracken will try to defend for himself. He's gonna get away for a second, but Kingdom will chase him down with the Lacerate. It's just, at this point, you're talking about what's gonna happen next.
They're just running in one at a time, and it's just not working out. And as you just said, take a step back. You need to realize, all right, what went wrong? Figure out something new in the draft, and go try and just play for the next game, because at this point, you're way too far behind. They have Fire Giant, they have free reign of your Phoenixes, and it's just not able to really be a good outlook from here on out unless Plat and Duel has some major throw where Kingdom and Jabberjaws decide to run into the fountain.
Yeah. Theta will land a pretty good taunt under Phoenix. It's not going to do much though, as Phoenix will fall soon enough here. And, you know, the XP lead is 17,000 in favor of Plat and Duel. Gold lead is 16,000 in favor. It's just, you can't, it's so hard to come back from this scenario, especially looking at builds here. Your entire item, if not an item and a half ahead of your opposition, as well as, you know, these level disparities. You got 3 in the solo, 4 in the jungle. It's unreal how ahead they are.
Now, yeah, in Plat and Duel, they take that tier 2, they're going to back off, take the Gold Fury, take everything up on the map from the unknowns, secure their lead, and on this next cooldown, when they back here, finish up some items with their gold, and just look for the end. Because at this point, they know they have they'll have Terror, they'll have Hunbatzel, they'll have Medusa, just their team fight just, not even including the fact that they have a 20k gold lead right now, is just remarkably better than the unknowns.
Now, it seems on the side of Plat and Duel, looking at these support builds here, there's definitely some homework being done on the side of Tough Luck. If you don't know already, let me fill you in. My boy Emilzy over in Europe just released a video saying that Thebes is actually the best item after Mark of Vanguard to be building. And clearly he watched that video because that build is quite popular right now. And as you look on the side of Athena, she builds Stone of Binding for her third item, or fourth item, excuse me, and provides decent protection as
Party person.
Fear No Evil.
2v1, he's just like, I'm just gonna drop Fear No Evil, I'm 20k gold ahead, I can 2v1, and I'm gonna kill your Thanatos and take your speed buff.
But yeah, so the Stone of Binding, why?
This, generally, it would work on a character like Party Person could be caught out here, but Terrell gonna be committed. Kabrakan not
beautiful
doing that much.
Kabrakan walls the Combats does have speed buff there, and Terror ult to be juking in and out as they do find the Lone Wolf in the back. And Party Person actually kills basically as the surrender vote does come out. At this point, morale is at its all-time low if you're throwing out surrender right now. You know, this isn't your regular rank game where you can just surrender willy-nilly.
Nah, yeah, sadly, they're just gonna burn down the Titan here. They have way too much damage. Party Person will fall, but sadly, it's too little too late. Titan will fall, and Plat and Duel is gonna take game 1 here.
Yeah, you know, there was decent points coming out from the unknowns, but it was just Plat and Duel's game since the start of that game to the end.
Just able to find a decent Hunbatzel and start snowballing their lead from there, taking a Gold Fury early on, knowing that we just got a pick, gonna take that Gold Fury and takes a decent fight afterwards, take Portal Demon, good objectives awareness, as well as being able to just find these engagements and take the better end of them.
For sure. And, you know, it's kind of hard to say if that was... Do you think they're better players, or do you think that was a better team comp on the side of Plat and Duel?
Oh, I would say for a big part of this was the fact that Plat and Duel drafted an incredibly strong comp compared to the unknowns. With Thanatos, Athena, Neith, comparatively, these characters are considered a little on the weaker end currently, but Hunbots is just an incredibly strong character right now. Jabberjaw is able to do so much on this Janus, as well as Kingdom on the Medusa in these team fights. Terrold able to just give them that get out of jail free card or that initiate into these team fights.
Yeah, that Humbatzel playing off huge dividends there, as well as the early damage from Unstable Vortex. Usually you don't note that for being a very chunking ability at the early stages, but he certainly made it work.
Just able to, he had pen boots in that fight on the right-hand side, and he got all the kills in the early game. Just get that gold and start snowballing your lead.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, you know, it was a rough game, but just wipe it off, you know, get that that anti-disinfectant for your wounds, get that Neosporin, and, you know, really think about what happened that game. Obviously, that was a lot of the draft picks there. It was hard to team fight into a Humbat's ult and Terra ult. You just got so much disruption on their side. You go in on someone who has that Terra ult, they're just going to get a burst heal. You go in on Humbat's, well, he has an ult that zones an entire team. So I think, at least for me, a priority ban would be getting rid of that Terra or that Humbat's for sure. It seemed to be too much for them. The Kraken, not so much. He did have some shining moments, but it was like too little. I'm sorry, Kraken on the other team was good, but not great.
Yeah, definitely. And as we go to a quick break here, so that we can reset and allow, you know, just a short break. Plat and Duel with the first game victory. We'll take a short break now, and we'll be right back with game 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Phoenix Smite League. We have The Unknown versus Plat and Duel Game 2 coming up here. And Game 1, rather unfortunate turn of events for The Unknowns. Wouldn't you agree, Gingy?
Yeah, I think it was mainly just down to a draft pick there. I would not value this Thanatos first pick again like they did last time. It did great damage for that early, but it just did not pay off in the end as the Humbats did with those huge ults coming out from Party Person 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Draft was a major issue of that first game, a lot, as well as some pathing, getting picked off quite a lot by Logic, especially. Just very unfortunate overall.
Yeah, and Scotty gonna be a first ban. Pretty strong, pretty smart. Nobody wants to face it. I wouldn't say it's broken right now, but it's certainly a nuisance. As Sylvanas will be banned again on the side of Plat and Duel.
I would go to lengths to say that the character is incredibly broken right now. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Pre-nerf, the character is a bit on the strong side, and especially in the 1v1 scenario where the other ADC is just incapable of getting past that dog. Sylvanas, smart first ban. I wouldn't say it's very difficult, but Logics, they value that Thanatos super highly, but they don't want to play it, yet they also don't want to play against it, so they'll ban it out now. And Kepri ban also coming out for the side of Plat and Duel.
So, looking back from last game's bans, no Relix ban coming out. Do we expect it to be played? Because that was obviously a respect ban. There's no way anyone, and it'd actually be Poseidon first pick. So, do you think it was a misclick on the Relix? Like, I'm still trying to get over that ban. It just seems so odd for me.
I don't know if it was a misclick, but I mean, I guess you can kind of see the logic with the Relix being an incredibly powerful character, but with the Poseidon first pick locked in, strong character, probably the strongest mid laner right now. Just insane early game, strong mid to late game, especially because of Gem of Isolation. But I would expect, and yep, Terra and bots locked in. Just run back the same opener. Not really gonna be any different, as these are two just incredibly strong characters.
For sure. I mean, as the old adage goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Both those players did a huge amount of work in that game. I'd say it was actually down to the Terra and Humbats. Sure, Jabberjaws had some great unstable vortexes, but those ults coming in from both King Din, or I'm sorry, not King Din, Jacob Mason and Party Person 1, 2, 3 had huge dividends paid off. And on the other side, we will see Medusa actually go towards Lone Wolf for the win, and hopefully take it away from King Din, as he did have a very successful showing with it.
Yeah, Medusa is just one of those ADCs that is like, unless you've played the matchup 100 times over or 1,000 times over, it's incredibly difficult to play the matchup against the Medusa because her acid spray is just able to clear waves super effectively and poke you out at the same time, and basically going to be locking in Nike. Nike has kind of fallen off lately due to several nerfs in a row, and the solo lane meta has kind of shifted to this lane clear, and Nike was seen as she doesn't have a very good lane clear.
Yeah, and it's very easy to interrupt her lane clear as well. Any form of CC besides a root, obviously, will stop whatever she's trying to do with her one, and knock up, stun, whatever it may be. And we'll see Rom actually locked in on the side of Plat and Duel to finish out their first 3 picks as well, and a Ymir ban on the side of Plat and Duel.
Yeah, Rom just a strong, solid ADC. He's always has been, and likely always will be, just this ADC who's like, all right, I just want to kind of farm for a while, get my Devos gauntlets online, and just farm until the mid game, hit some Rom snipes in the early to mid game, get some kills, and then but farm for the most part. And Zeus also coming out for the ban.
Yeah, to me, Rom is one of those characters that you can't nerf him because it's not it's not him that needs nerf. It's his kit is just so strong with what he does, and it takes the right hands to execute it properly. So, you'll see it excel in high level games, and in low level games you might see it be a little bit not as great, because that ult is arguably one of the harder ults to hit in this game, as we do see the Erlon coming out again, likely for tough luck on the side of him for support.
Most likely, they could try and flex. They're probably still debating on flexing this between the two potentially. Although last game we did see Jacob Mason on the Terra, tough luck on the Erlang Shen, so likely could still be that way. But probably just going to debate. Okay, I want Erlang Shen in this matchup, or Terra would be good in this matchup.
And Kabrakan will be locked on the side of the unknowns again, and an Osiris pick as well. So huge tanky comp coming out. That is probably going to be a Nike jungle, and well, maybe not. It might be a.
There have
Cat.
been some Nike supports running around. It's a very interesting play style when you run a Nike. You're very aggressive in the early game, and you have to be very communicative with your CC on that slow and that knockup. Kabrakan is an incredibly strong jungler. Osiris most likely going to be the solo lane. It's not really that great in the jungle, but tough luck going to be locking in a mid laner here at the end. Could be Janice one more time.
Toth gonna be locked. So Toth, see those slight ult nerfs. They hurt in the early game, but in all reality, they didn't take away any damage from it. So his ult is still just as strong as it was from the start of this game, basically. They nerfed it once, but that was about it.
No, yeah, they just nerfed the base damage slightly, and I was like, let's just make it scale harder with power. And Toth's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, and it will be Kabrakan going into the jungle as well as Nike into support. So not too crazy picks coming out. I mean, those are both, I wouldn't say common picks, but certainly seen before as we do get ready to load.
I would say Nike is the more interesting pick. Not a lot of supports usually run Nike support simply because they prefer these more initiators with hard CC rather than I'm going to Nike slow or Nike knockup that could be incredibly slow, but it can be incredibly fast due to our second ability, which is like incredibly weird.
Right. So, as we get ready to load it in here.
So we now load in the game here. And it will be Jacob Mason running that terror solo again, and tough luck running the Erlang support once again. Apologies for the brief intermission, just having a couple of difficulties, but should get it fixed up right away.
And looks like we are all started.
And we're in. Well, welcome to Game 2 of Plat and Duel versus the Unknowns. The Unknowns taking up the Order side. You have basically on the Osiris, Logics on that Cabrakan, Fexploits on the Poseidon, Wacky on the Nike support, and Lone Wolf FTW on that Medusa ADC. Who we got on the Plat and Duel side?
We got Party Person 123 on the Humbats, Jabberjaws on Toth, King Din on Rom, Tough Luck will be the support on Erlong, and Jacob Mason playing Terra and solo.
Cabrakan going to be picking up Blink here. Could signal that they want to go for that level 5 timing with that Kraken into and Cabrakan ults. Toth is super exploitable with that, so it could be very effective if they're able to catch him out.
Yeah, and we see some poke coming out from the side of Plat and Duel on the mid lane. And actually, a very late start coming out from the Unknowns. Looks like they were idling in the fountain a little bit too long, as they will be late heading into lane.
Or allow me to join your head to the
Wacky
ground
is going to
under my foot.
take some poke on this left-hand
Surrender
side,
now,
but he has a
and
Watcher's
I may
Gift
just
and
let
health
you
and
clean
multipod,
my
so
grease.
he's okay with it. It's not that bad. And for the most part, just standard lane starts. We're going to have Terra starting on her blue buff small so that when she goes in the lane, she will hit level 2 right away. Mid lane clear will go the way of the Unknowns, and looks like there's a bit of a miscommunication that they will be looking for that speed buff invade, which I believe that they really should be.
I mean, absolutely. Toth has some pretty poor early game in terms of secure, and Poseidon actually electing to just stand around. I don't know if he's looking for a zone or like vision, but they'll actually let the speed buff go on the side of Plat and Duel, as we do see an invade come out from Plat and Duel as well onto the purple. And Kraken tries to steal, but it will go on side of the Unknowns.
He could get caught out here. But Osiris is here on the rotation to get him out, but miscommunication left-hand side,
man,
Wacky will be taken down. Looked for some aggression and got punished super hard.
Yeah, unfortunate really, because Erlong, Rom especially, is huge in the late game, and that first kill, as we do see solo kill coming out from Jacob Mason onto Osiris, that's a little odd for me.
That is not a good sign of moving forward into this game. Terra soloing an Osiris at level 3 is not good. Not at all.
No, I think something must have gone wrong, as we see King Din pick up another kill on the Lone Wolf. Things are just not looking very great on the duel lane, as we do see Nike leap away here, but it's just, I don't know, man. Something seems off on the side of the Unknowns.
Miscommunication, just possibly still tilted from that last game, losing super hard, and you gotta bounce back, sadly, and it doesn't look like they're bouncing back from that loss.
No, as we do see Plat and Duel start to invade the red buff. Now, there should be a bit of contesting here, as we do see Poseidon and Cabrakan secure their own red buff, thankfully. But it looks like they'll be jumped on. It was just a bait for Toth and Erlong to get there on time, as exploits will go down to King Din. King Din having 3 kills on this ROM already, and 2...
I know you like red buff Lone Wolf, but you can't just be walking into 4 people like that.
No,
he will go down.
Unfortunately, that was her beads as well. Wacky gonna hit a nice knockup, but she's gonna get taken down too. This is looking horrible right now on the side of the Unknowns. 6-0 at 3 minutes in the game. Golden XP, we got a 2,000 gold lead as well as a almost 2,000 XP lead for Plat and Duel as well. Do you think they're tilted?
I would say they're tilted, yes, sadly. Wacky just saw Lone Wolf walk into 4 people and was like, I'll jump into 4 people. That's a good idea. And that didn't exactly pan out the best way.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's certainly a very somber mood on the side of the Unknowns right now for the comms. It just, when you see plays like that, you know something isn't going right, and comms are in, you know, just in their players' heads themselves, as we do see a gank coming onto solo over here. Osiris will ult away and save himself, but it's just, it's plays like these where you're like, what's happening, you know?
I think after this game, especially, the team needs to just sit down, go over the replays, and not be tilted. And they need to use this as a learning experience overall. And in this early game, they still could bring this back. Like, they're not out of the woods at all. But sadly, Plat and Duel, they have a strong lead. They've proven that they're good at keeping the snowball lead and just advancing it forward into a win.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say that Plat and Duel isn't looking, great right now, because they do have a top who excels in the late game and a ROM that excels in the late game. Basically their whole team. And when you look on the other side, Cyrus, you kind of note him as an early game character as well as Medusa. So it's not looking too great, but we'll see how things pan out later. I'm not counting them out just yet, but it's a very steep slope to climb on the way up.
No, yeah, I think for the most, if they can get a couple of good picks onto, say, the ROM or the Toth with Poseidon and Krakens and Gabrakan ultimates, they could find themselves back into this game. Or if they steal a Gold Fury or manage to sneak one, they're not out of this yet.
Pen coming into the T1, they're not going to dive it though. Good use of the beads. Fear No Evil was also used in that fight, so overall, I'd say it's actually in Poseidon's favor, even though he did lose his relic. Hold that thought, Nike will have to ult to get away there. Ugh, it's just pure aggression.
That was a good ultimate to cleanse the Erlang taunt and be able to immune it and get out of there alive, but they're going to lose their red buff. They're just losing their farm across the map, sadly. Plat and Duel is starting to get to that point where, alright, we can just force a Gold Fury fight and take it.
Yeah, it just looks like they're looking for easy kills under, the tower line or just barely out of their mid lane. As we do see Kraken getting poked out with 0 mana. They will not be able to secure the kill though, as our good friend basically will secure his safety for himself.
The unknowns. Unfortunately, another thing with their comp is that their characters from behind are not very good. Kabrakan, he has to play either even or ahead. That's why he's an incredibly strong solo laner. You're able to get that farm, and you're ahead of the squishies on the enemy team, so you're able to just two-shot them. As Plat and Duel, they do pull the Gold Fury. A good call here. They're 5-man group. They want to take this fight. The unknowns, they're looking for it.
And secure on the side of Plat and Duel. Someone did press L. Then Humbat's ult coming in with Fear No Evil. We'll be chasing down Fexploits and hopefully secure the kill here, as he does secure it.
Let's take a second.
To the back.
Fight is going to continue on in this left-hand lane, but
Kingdom securing Lone Wolf.
to be able to find that kill, and Plat and Duel just taking their lead and moving it all the way forward. It's just very unfortunate for them.
I shall rise.
Rampage.
Kraken will fall as well, and Plat and Duel just able to take Gold Fury fight and progress it into a good win on the team fight, and try and take this tier 1 on the left-hand side.
So something's
left-hand side, aggression coming out from Lone Wolf. Or excuse me, onto Lone Wolf, and he will go down. Kingdom gonna pick up that kill, and apologies for that, we had some minor technical difficulties, but should be fixed up.
as we do see our good old pal Nike try to save her friend Lone Wolf, but unfortunately a little bit too late on that rotation. They will not fight her under this tier 1 though, as there's really no reason to. It'd be a lot to be expended to kill her, but nothing will be found. As Toth is charging up an ult, huge. Oh, it'd be huge if he landed it. Unfortunately, missing. This is the stun as well as Nike will ult and could potentially find a kill here as Wacky decides not to go over it though. Kraken gonna miss the ult, but a great 1 into a 2 will secure the kill on the Jabberjaws. Staying his welcome a little bit too much. Unfortunately though, a party person will come in full health but half mana, and as we do see, Kingdon hit some raw snipes.
Gonna miss the first, hit the second, but miss the third, and not being able to find that kill. And Tough Luck is gonna look for some aggression onto Logix here. However, that root immunity from Kraken 1 will keep him safe.
And they will secure. I was about to say their red buff, but I mean, certainly by the way it's going, it's theirs. But the Unknown's red or blue buff. Sorry, purple. I'm colorblind. Fun fact.
Oh, that's no good.
No, I'm kidding. But actually, if you look into the jungle here, no, it looks like he'll back off. Fexploits was standing over there by the purple. Look at the actually gank here onto Kingdon, and Kraken gonna find some great damage as well as the Kraken connecting with Kingdon from Fexploits. That's a pretty important kill to be picked up as Rom is 6-1, and that would be a huge shutdown. Lacerate coming out, connecting with Erlong. Looks like he'll get away though. No biggie there.
I think this just kind of goes to show that the Unknowns, even though they're 3 goal behind, they're not out of this game. Plat and Duel, they're starting to get a bit overconfident. Just sticking around for far too long, not backing, getting another item online, playing it safe. The Plat and Duel is just, at this point, we're ahead. We feel like we're the better team, and Fexploit's just picking off Jabberjaws in the mid lane.
For sure. And, you know, it's hard to say, like, are they coming back? Because you had this horrible early game. I mean horrible. You're 0-6 at 3 minutes in this game. You had all your buffs stolen, but now you're finding all these great fights. And I don't even want to discredit Plat and Duel. They're playing well still, but the Unknowns are just getting these excellent ults coming out on some overextending players on the side of Plat and Duel.
Yeah, like, this is what they need to do. They need to just try and play safe, play defensively, defend their towers. They could maybe look for Medusa ult to try and steal away a Fire Giant or a Gold Fury or a Portal Demon, or a Kraken to do the same thing. But they need to just play it a bit more safely, play a bit more thoughtfully. If they can find these good engagements and these good fights onto Toth and Rom, they can still win this game and pull it out in the end.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, outside Plat and Duel, their comp will be a better late game comp, but the early game on the side of the Unknowns, if they can find themselves a lead late, I wouldn't say late, but at least by the 15-minute mark, they could be in a spot where they could at least find themselves some even footing. But we do see Gold Fury starting up on the side of Plat and Duel as actually Disengage comes out as they notice Fexploits as well as Wacky coming in from the right side and Lone Wolf on the left.
Terrell pop, party person trying to go on to the Medusa. Wacky is really far forward. I think he thought they were still on the Gold Fury. The party person gonna switch his aim to the Poseidon, but on the right hand side, Logic is able to get the error, and Wacky's gonna go down here. The medication comes out, but he will be falling in the end.
Oh, great top ult coming out from Jabberjaws, and a Kraken a little bit off the mark there as actually Toth will try to secure Medusa. A huge fight coming out. Medusa, Lone Wolf will actually secure the kill on the Jabberjaws, but will die to a raw snipe from Kingdon. As
Cyrus has shown up, he's gonna pick up party person on that red buff, and he's gonna be trying to man fight Tough Luck. You cannot fight him, man. He's gonna secure the red buff. Logix has rotated in now. They could look for a kill onto Kingdon. Cabrakanil gonna be off the mark, however.
that's disheartening. Like, that kills. I wouldn't say it was free, but Rom's relics were down and his ult was, or I'm sorry, his relic was up, but his ult was down, and you did have Tough Luck to help you out, but unfortunately,
We're gonna have able to secure that kill. Logix is out of mana here, and Plat and Duel is more than aware of this, and they're just gonna take the tier 1 for free and back off. They want one more wave. They could end up paying for this.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, Kraken has no mana, but he still chases her down. Tough Luck will likely fall here to the Poseidon. And a desperation effort Will actually get the heal off, but
Darling here
Cripple
as
coming
well.
out. Oh, Will just cancel the Mink form. That's horrible for him, but still gets away some shape or form. I don't know if that was, necessarily the smartest thing to do, be aggressing like that, but he did get away, so works out in his favor, as we do see Plat and Duel try to take down this mid tower.
Tough luck with those reinforced greaves, able to just stay alive, as well as the extra HP from Gauntlet Thieves, the damage reduction from Mark of the Vanguard, in combination with the procs from Gauntlet Thieves as well, or Gauntlet of Thieves, excuse me, as well. Just gonna keep him alive there. It's just a fact that they're ahead.
Yeah, and as we see Osiris get pressured out here, Cripple coming out to save him, and it'll actually be a turn on from the Unknowns to try to push him off, as Logic secures his own speed buff there. So, I would say that's a good trade in terms of just XP wise. The Unknowns securing their own buffs and getting the pressure off. As we, oh my gosh,
Kinged in, I believe his name, or at least his cousin, is Marvels.
yeah,
Able
I
to
mean,
get all 3 Romsh snipes in order to win that 1v1. Just excellent shooting from him.
but not to discredit Lone Wolf there. He was about 1 health and 1 mana. I mean, that was very close to engagement on both sides. It was basically about it who landed with 1 basic more. And Fear No Evil coming out onto Logic's here. He's gonna just skate around. Actually lands ult to secure a movement penalty, but
Logic,
Nike.
get out. Tough luck just diving into this tier 1 tower, trying to get some aggression. Wacky,
And so
blink forward
our
from
hero
Logic, gonna
story begins.
poke out party person.
Jacob
Terra's
Mason will
stuck
actually
under
fall.
tower. Terra's stuck under tower. Gemini Isolation is online from the Poseidon, so that Whirlpool doing a lot of work. Logix is really far forward. Top dash,
Oh.
he's gotta hit the Poseidon.
It looks like Plat and Duel is still going to pressure this T1 as it will fall here. And, it just it looks like they're gonna hopefully back off, but Nike also getting, I wouldn't say low, but getting some decent poke off. She has no mana as we look for her in right lane, and Osiris over here is just split pushing his dream out as he is going to get collapsed on in about 2 seconds here from the rest of Plat and Duel. And this is a little bit of a misplay on his part. No wards deep for where he is pushing, and I don't know if that was just tunnel vision, like, I gotta get this tower, or I don't
Well,
know.
He did create some space. The Unknowns is taking the Gold Fury, and Plat and Duel can't come to contest it, so they're going to trade it off with that Portal Demon. It's overall, I think this is okay for the Unknowns. They may trade off objectives, but they do get themselves a gold influx, which is something that they desperately need to stay in this game.
Okay, so the rotation onto Osiris was great in terms of they got the kill, but you have to worry about that Gold Fury. You didn't have a single ward on the actual objective, and it was obviously a bait from that moment on. Unfortunate that they had 4 people rotate over and not expect a Gold Fury. They have so much secure on the side of a Petrify and a Kraken to get that Gold Fury on, so it was just kind of a risky maneuver. I mean, you did have, who was it? It was
tough luck. He was there
Tough luck,
trying
yeah.
to contest, but he's an Erlang Shen, and he's
yeah,
not
and
exactly.
you have 4 players over there with giant ultimates that do huge damage, so...
And a Gem of Isolation on Poseidon, which for anyone ever in the game is just like, I hate my life.
Yeah, it's it's rough being a support, and you make the right call, but once again, it's that whole thing with people say it's your team call versus the right call. You have to do what's your team's call, not the right one sometimes.
Yeah, definitely Wacky gonna be forced to hold here. Logix tries for a blink in, but he's not gonna be able to find anything. Terror Root comes out.
Fear No Evil will connect with the Bracken, as well as a taunt coming out from Erlang, but a huge ult will hit, but Lone Wolf coming in, cleaning up kills onto Tough Luck. And Kraken frontlining, but Humbat's barely escaping, having to pop his beads. No, oh my gosh, a beautiful Kraken coming out from Exploits as Rum goes up the sorry, my bad. Let's try to save himself for just 2 seconds more as Kingdom does land. Will roll away, but instantly actually finds Lone Wolf before he goes
That's
down.
actually huge. They can't do Fire Giant anymore. If they were able to just get that full wipe for free, they could have taken this Fire Giant. They're gonna try and do it, but I don't think they can do it anymore without the Medusa.
Yeah, especially Kraken being down. Now, Poseidon has elected into this build where it's Gem of Ice and Fatalis, so those Trident swings will be hurting, but it's going to be a long time before this Fire Giant is taken down, as we do see Jacob Mason come in to contest it.
And Terra does do a lot of damage with that Soul Lane, and going to be going on to Fexploits. It's going to force them out, and yeah, just they should have gone with the Medusa down. They should have just gone for some towers, get some objectives around the map, get yourself some map pressure. But instead, they went for that Fire Giant. Not gonna get anything off of it, but they did get a good team fight. They won a team fight, which is the important part.
For sure. And do you respect the Fire Giant call? Like, do you think that was the right call, or do you think they should have pressed a little bit more onto the T2 and mid?
As I just said, if the Medusa was up, definitely Fire Giant, 100%. Without the Medusa, you don't have the damage, sadly. Just look at your comp. You have 3 frontliners and a Poseidon. Like, you need that Medusa damage in team fights.
Terra getting pressured down here by Poseidon and Osiris will fall. Fear of Evil coming out, and just to basically create some spacing for himself. He didn't want to get caught out by there, as we do have Fexploits with a Kraken still available. So it would have been a little rough if Humbats decide to commit fully onto it.
Yeah, just Jacob Mason getting picked up. That's actually just getting any kill right now is incredibly huge for the Unknowns. But saying that, the same could be said for Plat and Duels, as they tried for some aggression on it basically, but unable to really find the CC in order to stop it.
Yeah, I mean, on the left side, we do see Lone Wolf for the win try to take down this T1 tower, as she will find a skirmish against Party Person, but will fall away from him as well. Looking at mid, 3-man grouping versus 2-man of, Fexploits and Logics, and they do look like they're going to try to secure their own buffs here.
Just grouped up on this left-hand side. Interesting group up. Just gonna be mid camps, and as the Unknown's buffs were up, but I don't know if they had the timers or not.
Well, Nike popping
Indeed,
Thorns
right now.
and her shield. Unfortunately, that Thorn's not doing enough work as she wanted it, as she just gets chunked down without dishing out any damage of her own. Toth will have to force his Aegis, stands in the Kraken, just kind of looks. It was off the mark, he's in the outer ring. So that's gotta be rough on the side of Fexploits. He's definitely upset that that Kraken did not land the way he wanted it to.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just a lot of posturing is just going on right now. Is the Unknowns and Plat and Duel, they're just going for this ward vision, and they could look for a bots initiate on somewhere around here with a blink ult, or just a ult onto the Logics here.
Yeah, and as this poke on the Kraken comes out, Fear No Evil comes in, will find the kill on the Logics, and it looks like they will turn their attention towards the Osiris. Likely to find just ult away and hopefully get out. Terra getting acid spray, not gonna die. Jabberjaw charging ult, lands it on Poseidon. Oh, huge damage coming out, as Fexploits will have to be taken down by Kingdom from the Rom Snipes. Huge damage coming out from Jabberjaws on that ultimate.
Wacky trying to do something in the back line, but your support, you don't have any damage items. Basically going to be trying to TP back in. He could still maybe hold this, but he is 5v1, and it's going to be very sketchy here, as 5 players damage into 1 character kind of just obliterates them to go fall.
Basically taking a hard tumble right there as he teleports into the T1 just to get blown up. Now, what I was saying earlier, right, at the very beginning of this game, as we did see the Unknown start to come back, we were talking about that they had to be coming in around the 16-17 minute mark with hopefully a gold lead, or at least even gold. And actually going into that fight, hold that thought as Fear No Evil comes out to push away. But, so, Plat and Duel does secure it there.
They're so
Erlong
low.
stuck in the Tremors.
The Unknowns is just so sad. Like,
Yeah.
all of Plat and Duel is just half HP or lowered. Logic's looking for a blink. They could find Jabberjaws. It would be a very good pick, but Toth Dash just takes them 3 miles away from the fight. And
Get away
you're
with
not
that
gonna
dash.
you're not going to be able to find anything, unfortunately. As Terra comes back in, is coming in from behind. He's going to turn south very quickly.
Oh yeah, but Humbats actually blink again, but he doesn't have any sort of ult to secure a kill there. As Fexploits will find the kill, and Lone Wolf will find the kill. Fexploits will find another. Oh, it just went south real quick for Plat and Duel. A horrible idea of the comms, I'm assuming, to re-engage there. No ult up on the side of Plat and Duel to actually get anything working there.
Plat and Duel, they had the right idea with the re-engage, it was just mistimed. Terror was coming in from behind, but Party Person went in way before the Terror was there, and he had no follow-up for going in, he just got focused down. So the Unknowns is able to win out that team fight because Plat and Duel basically ran in one at a time, and they're going to be looking to take this right-hand Phoenix.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out that looking at the graphs here, we said that the Unknowns could come back after that rough early game. It was about 3,000 gold. Now looking at it, they're actually ahead in XP, and they're even in gold. So, you know, what's going on? As Fear Evil will come out and secure Wacky, and he likely will find Logics as well. That was a huge ult coming out. A little bit of greediness coming out from the side of the Unknowns to push that right-hand Phoenix, but ultimately just ending in their demise, as Lone Wolf will find a spill here as well.
They had the right idea, it's just backdoor protections on the Phoenix just way too strong. I mean, Medusa doesn't exactly have the most pen online, no Titan's Bane, no Executioner, so not even really the attack speed to be able to take that Phoenix through backdoor protections. Probably should have said, okay, we're taking way too long, they're respawning, we need to just back off, but unfortunately, you're gonna lose 3 people trying to take that Phoenix after a good fight.
Yeah, and it was... I don't know if that's just no awareness of timers or just thinking they have the damage to secure it, but without FG it's kind of hard to secure objectives, as we do see pressure coming onto this tier 2, as well as a split push coming out from Jabberjaws on the left-hand T2.
Top with that wall, he has a ton of tower push just on his own, as you're not even going to come out here to just zone out so that they can take this tier 2 tower for free, and Brackenwall going to come up but to try and zone, but it's a ROM, you can just shoot through it.
Yeah. And Wall, I mean, it's been helping in this game, but like I said earlier, it wasn't huge for the side of the Unknowns last game as it is this game as well. So I don't know if it was just a lack of, you know, playing other gods or anything like that. So we do see the Unknowns actually electing to start up the Gold Fury. Rom Snipe will secure it. Oh my gosh, that's gotta be heartbreaking for the Unknowns.
That's
at this point,
so heartbreaking. They needed that Gold Fury to really like keep this game even, but that Rom Snipe able to just make sure Plat and Duel now has a very good lead, 8k gold lead, and moving into the next Fire Giant respawn, as that will be the next point of contention. Plat and Duel will have a solid lead, and they may still be lacking behind in experience on like Toth compared to Poseidon, but for the most part, they're in a strong position, and Terrell going to be looking for some aggression here.
Yeah, Humbat's looking to chase down in mid. Fear Evil coming out onto basically, actually a ult coming out as well as a shell will be enough to save him for the time being, as a taunt comes out into Jabberjaw's damage, but Party Person will likely fall as a result to start the fight up, and he'll actually jump over the wall and get away. That's so unfortunate. Kraken gonna be a little bit off the mark, only hitting tough luck there, but
Medusa in the back gonna go for some damage, but you're into 3 people with tons of damage. You can't do it, sadly. Fexploit's gonna be able to pick up Kingdon, that's very good.
yeah, I mean, at this point, any picks are huge. It was overall 3-for-1 in the favor of Plat and Duel, my bad. So, you know, I like to point out, once again, the graphs. About 10 minutes ago, it looked like a freaking roller coaster at Six Flags. It was up and down, back and forth, but now seeing this late game comp like I was talking about earlier, starting to actually pay in effect, you can start to see a little bit of a lead that's going to continue to snowball if they don't do anything about it.
So far forward right now. Hunbot's just gonna jump over the wall. Terra's done. Gonna be able to connect. Nike is just so far out of position, and Fexploit has arrived to try and peel, but Terror coming in.
No, actually, huge wall coming out from Logics, but Fear No Evil from a blink actually turning their attention towards Fexploits, as he will likely fall here as he does. Wow, that was, I don't know if it was a bait or just lucky timing, but that was huge, as Tremors will be coming out, try to zone out some damage, but Wacky still will fall to Jabberjaws. And actually, Final Judgment will be off the mark, looking towards Lone Wolf, but not finding damage to connect.
Jabberjaws just dashes
Oh,
right into
beat and punish. Oh,
And this is just the power of the late game toss with a fully stacked do more being brought into Hootie and push a toss, just so much damage. And basically, he's gonna be trying to man fight this, keep them off the Phoenix, and looks like they may have succeeded in that. As Kingdon, he's still doing the Fire Giant this whole time.
the sad part is you look at his health bar, you look at the Fire Giant's health bar. This man only has Dev's Gauntlet for lifesteal. How is he able to do this? This should not be allowed.
The power of crit. He prayed to RNGesus before this game, clearly. As
I mean,
he will succeed in soloing the Fire Giant, giving them an incredibly powerful buff and the capability to just close out this game now.
I thought that was only doable by Mercury, but I guess Rom finds himself in the same company.
Very unfortunate. Plat and Duel is just grouped up as 5 on this right-hand side, and the unknowns, Wacky is just, I want this back cap really badly. And sadly, if he gets caught out here, that could just be the game. But luckily, Plat and Duel not going to spot him out, so they're just going to back off, play this safe, take the Portal Demon, come back with another item online with their carries. E-Staff finished up for Jabberjaws on this toss, so now he's going to have even more damage than he did before with that 5% magical damage on top of everything every 10 seconds. And just Portal Demon, it kind of just dies in a few seconds, so secured. Objective, take everything off the map, ensure that we're, even if we do get 5-man wiped, we're in a strong position even on the respawn so that they can't really push us down after if we get wiped. And just, you know, overall Ward Vision is also just the unknowns. That they do have decent wards around the map, super defensive, able to see, okay, they're pushing down into this jungle, we need to back off, you know, just playing very defensive wards.
Yeah, I mean, great stuff coming out from Plat and Duel, recognizing their objective control with the damage that they have, especially in this late game, as we do see Wacky getting a little bit out of position there. Thorns will be popped, as well as their ultimate. Rom actually taking half health just from basicking, but will fall. Unfortunately, Wacky will.
Sadly, that's been the story of this late game. Just Wacky gets caught out. He's the first one that everyone is going on. And he baits, usually it's either, I'm baiting a lot of cooldowns and I survive because I have a Nike ult that gives me another HP shield. Or it's, I just baited my whole team into death. And sadly, this is just, okay, I'm just really far out of position. And now Plat and Duel are going to be shoving down this left-hand Phoenix. And without that Nike passive, it's going to be rough.
Rom's just melting objectives, people, whatever it may be. His damage is definitely online right now.
Kraken is in deep alone, and he's gonna get picked off here in the end. Just the Toth wall just enables so much tower push.
Yeah, and they will look for, I'm assuming all the Phoenixes here, gonna play it safe as they do head towards the right-hand Phoenix. But it actually looks like Blue's looking to defend this one as the Unknowns trying to get some objective control here as Top ult does come out. Fear no evil, huge, Medusa ult.
That's right into tough luck, but he's gonna get Rom sniped down. Bats basically is when he's gonna get hit by the pin. Wacky falls as well. Good Kraken, but sadly, you don't have enough damage. It's effectuates. I'm sorry. He's gonna drop to 1 HP, and Kingdon just focusing down the Titan, and Plat and Duel will secure the 2-0 victory here. The Unknowns, they had a good showing in this mid to late game section, but sadly just Plat and Duel's able to secure it with their very incredibly strong late game team comp, and the Unknowns just kept getting picked off, sadly.
Yeah, and not to discredit the Unknowns at all that game, they actually were neck and neck up until that like 23-minute mark, and I think it honestly all comes down to that one play at the Phoenix where they just wiped them all at Fire Giant, and they stay too long. It was unfortunate because if they made the right decision, gone for a tower, something easier, they probably could have looked towards that Phoenix at a later point. But it's just too little too late, unfortunately, as they do fall in the end. 2-0 victory for Plat and Duel. Great stuff coming out from them. Kingdon having a phenomenal showing on that ROM, as well as Jabberjaws on that Giannis in the previous game. And in the stat lines don't show it, Jacob Mason, party person, setting up everything with their ultimates that game. Those comps were crazy great, but, both teams played really well, especially the unknowns at the end. But Plat and Duel just coming out on top of that late game comp, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, just decent showing. It was strong showing considering the circumstances. Plat and Duel outdrafted them yet again, sadly, and the unknowns, you gave it a good run.
Exactly. To me, I'd say, maybe that first 3 minutes, but other than that, you had a fantastic game. Like, that was honestly one of the more entertaining sets to watch. It was constant back and forth, but late game comp over mid game comp just will win eventually if it's even in the middle stage.
Yeah, and sadly, and once again, Plat and Duel securing the 2-0 victory here in their split versus the unknowns. We will go to a brief break before we get to our next set, which will be Infirmary Gaming versus Focus. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome, Smite fans. We are back with Focus versus Infirmary Gaming. Infirmary Gaming should be on your left side, Focus on the right. I am joined by Josh Goggles on the caster desk. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing pretty well.
Well, hopefully we should be able to get in game just fine, guys. We've had some issues before, but hopefully nothing really hurts here. A surprise there. She's been a really popular band. Hopefully the nerf to her fixes some of these bans.
Oh yeah, Scotty is just that character that's in the 1v1 scenario. She does way too much damage. You can't get past the dog if she ults. And her late game is just incredibly strong.
Yeah, she just does a boatload of damage. She's a really, really strong character. But I think the big thing about her that makes her so difficult to deal with is the fact that you can't auto over it. The only god who can auto over the dog once you use the ultimate is really Rama. And so it's just really difficult to box her. She feels unboxable. We also see Kabrakan Circuit Band on the side of Infirmary of Focus, and Thanatos on the other end.
Yeah, I would say for the most part, these are relatively standard bans, except for the Thanatos. Thanatos, he's valued super highly by certain teams, but other teams, he's kind of fallen off, and Infirmary, one of those teams that definitely values him super highly. Hunbot's going to be first pick here, incredibly strong character, as we just saw in our last set.
Yeah, Hoonbot's definitely a really strong character. I'm actually surprised we've been seeing the Thanatos bans over him, but I think is the fact that we kind of are in the Challenger division. We've seen a lot more of these Thanatos bans than we have seen Hoonbot's bans in the Premier division. I think it has to do somewhat with the players and the way who they're scrimming and the way it all works out. Hercules also picked up here.
Yeah, I would also say that Thanatos is that character where when he snowballs, he's unstoppable. He's a character that is just like, okay, what do I do? He's got a lead on me, now what? And he's just hard to deal with, but when he falls behind, he's this super awkward character that he still does decent damage, but it's just awkward. But Hercules and Medusa being locked in here for Focus, both very strong characters in their respective roles.
Yeah, of course, Medusa is a really, really popular ADC right now. I am kind of still surprised that we see her so early instead of even seeing some kind of mid pick like a Thoth, but it's really popular Poseidon. We can see Isis being hovered, and it's going to be locked in along with the Odin for Infirmary Gaming. But yeah, I think Medusa is really good, but I don't think maybe I'm biased here, but I don't think she's that good.
She's definitely strong right now, but there are certain matchups where she can be abused, and certain characters like Fenrir or an Odin who can abuse her when we can get into those later team fighting stages. And definitely, I can agree there. Odin pickup is very strong against against the Hercules and Medusa, so it's a very smart pickup. I would say that also combined with the Isis, very strong mid lane clear, and you have a circle ult on top of Odin ult, which can do a ton of damage. Willick's pick here to counter that Odin pick, prevent him from getting those early bird bomb initiates.
Yeah, I'm actually really not a fan of the Odin pick. I think it was a huge mistake here. I don't know how this game is going to go, but I think the Odin pick is pretty wrong to go here. You, of course, could have seen the Willix counter matchup coming clear as day, but of course, Odin's really a god that I think you want to wait until it's last pick or second to last pick, or you've banned a Willish out, or you just know that you're going to be able to catch 2 or 3 people in the ring without them popping Ghost. And in this situation, you're only going to be catching the Hercules and the Medusa, which probably isn't worth a third pick Odin pickup, whereas you could have gotten your On Her, your Apollo, any other ADC that you particularly like right now is really viable. And even if you didn't do that, a support pickup could have also been really valuable. So I really don't agree with the Odin pickup here.
I think with the Odin pickup here, they're looking to just flex it between that support and solo lane, try and give him a decent matchup. But yeah, I can see why you pick this Odin is a bit early. I would agree with that, where you pick it here, and it's like, well, they suddenly insta lock the Willix, and you may get abused early game. But a lot of this is going to come down to, okay, does a Willix ult have her ult up, and then try and play off that. So it's going to be all eyes on that Odin to try and play around that Willick ult. Athena going to be locked in here. Another character that can't exactly get out of the cage, so I'm kind of surprised.
Well, I just to keep carbon make on this Odin or Willish matchup, I think the real strength of it is not necessarily that Willix is going to kill Odin over and over by pulling him out of his leap. It's that Odins know that they can't use it. So if a Willix leaps into them, hits a couple abilities, keeps auto-attacking, they know they can't just use the leap away or they're going to get plucked out of it and die. They know they can't use the initiate in the mid game. They know they're going to get plucked out of it and lose their damage and then die. And so it's really this situation where you lose all of your initiate. And still looking at the rest of their comp, Terra has pretty good initiate, but that's about it. They have no other way to really get into a team fight unless Hoonbots is willing to blink ult the backline. So I think what can really happen here is if Odin gets pulled out, singled out by the Awilish, or he's going to be forced to use his blink to initiate, it's going to really lead to a 4v5 scenario.
I think that's kind of a double-edged sword, though, because sometimes the Odin is like, yes, the Awilix pulled me instead of my Hunbots, or used it on one of my carries, such as this Hui, which is suddenly picked up. So it can be this double-edged sword, but Hui, Terra, locked in here for last 2 picks. Terra incredibly strong right now, just the ultimate allowing so much mobility and heal sustain in team fights. And Hui, he's a strong 1v1 ADC right now. He's a more of a taste character. The player has to be familiar with the character and understand, I like this character in the situation, so yeah, let's go with it.
Right, and I think I would agree with your sentiment that sometimes it can be double-edged sword in certain scenarios, but the Scylla has been picked up, giving you plenty of damage to burst that Odin before he really gets any more damage off or is able to disengage. But anyways, guys, we're going to head right into game. No real wait, and we're going to try to head in and sync up and get this game casted and played for you. So how's your day been, Josh?
My day has been up and down, with lots of hot weather. It's kind of toasty in my room right now, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I see you going up and down, but I'm not sure about left and right. Where is that headed for you?
Oh, we don't talk about left and right here. We just don't.
All right. So we're loading into the game. Hopefully we should all be synced up. Make sure you don't have any issues as these teams begin to set up and first pick their character. So if you had a team to pick on play, Josh, so you play jungle, so the Wilsh or the Hoonbots, which would you pick to be on just comp, not looking at those players?
Comp? Well, I want a Terra ult, so I'm going to choose Infirmary Gaming's comp. Terra ult is just so powerful, especially when you put them into that solo lane role. They get their level 5 super quick, so when you're level 4 and the other team is level 4, you can look for that fight and be super confident because you have that CDR, you have that movement speed, you have that sustain, and they don't.
All right, yeah, I'm on the other end. I would much rather be that Awilish in this scenario. I think that the Odin is just gonna get totally abused. I think. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Maybe I could be totally wrong. We'll see as we get into the game here, guys. People pick up their first items. Everything seems to be pretty standard so far.
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting. They're going to go with this Odin in the solo lane role just to try and avoid being abused by the Awilix in that support role, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's true. You're probably going to see less of that 3v3 with the jungle, mid, and support if you do put the Odin in the solo lane. So you probably encounter the Awilish less. But I think this can also be, just as you mentioned before, another double-edged sword in the scenario where now this Odin can be really easily ganked by a Willish and can't use his leap to ever disengage.
No, yeah, definitely. And also, Odin has to play this matchup super carefully. Hercules can definitely abuse it. And he's actually going to look for early.
Yeah, hold up. He's going to try to look for a push in here. He's going to push on Ball, but there's not that much damage. There is the Wing Gust trying to get himself out. He's 1 HP. The auto attack was just barely not enough, but a really good start for Focus. They have more aggressives in here. Fireball Explode is looking for more. Probably going for the speed buff invade or another kill at the start. I'm Bob is healing up off a health pot. He's going to show his face is a Willish, but that was a really good just free damage and free mid pressure for Focus. Really good job by that Hercules.
No, yeah, definitely. It's kind of unfortunate that Fireball Explode was not in position to capitalize off of that push. If the Willis was there, that's 100% a guaranteed first blood. And now, Focus, they're going to be able to steal away that speed buff. Infirmary Gaming is going to look to trade out, though. So this could be very stalemate, but Focus, if they take the speed buff and then beeline back, this could be very bad for Infirmary.
I think if they don't get back to this lane really quickly, clear that speed, they can be in a lot of trouble. The blue buff's been invaded, the speed buff has been invaded, and the red buff's been invaded, all in Infirmary Gaming's jungle side, all for a speed buff. This is definitely in favor of Focus, but this could be a blue buff fight. They're going to try to invade that as well. Now the fire elementals are just going to go to a Willix. Should hit level 3 off this, if I'm not mistaken. Done the math incorrectly, but they are actually going to meet level 3 for both the mid and the jungle for Focus versus level 2. They should look for this fight if they know what's good for him. Mata's going to dash over the wall with a Sentinel, get out of dodge. Not really in a good position, but here is Odin, Slayer Prodigy, in a really tough position. He's trying to leap away, but he's not. He is going to get the leap off, but the knockup from Fireball is there. Not enough damage off the 2. He's going to try to keep looking for it, but he doesn't have any other abilities up. Going to get in range, and CMO3 is going to get the first kill. Good job on his end on the Soul Lane kill. Saint Zaps is going to be the next to fall. Fireball getting the last hit on that one with a Bluestone proc, and it's a 2 for a trade for Focus.
Yeah, good mechanical skill there coming out from Focus. Just being able to min-max their damage there, especially CMO3, being able to min-max that auto attack cancel with his abilities. And he wanted the blue buff, but sadly, you can't overextend yourself like that without being aware. Left lane, Dekamaru is going to be taken down.
Yeah, Majin and Kintetsu doing a really good job getting that kill there. Had a lot of really good abilities with Bungaria. Now Mystic's trying to fight in, but here's the rotation actually made by Fireball. Looking for the damage. He's going to use the 2 overhead. The immunity frame's not going to get in there, but no, Majin's going to be able to leap out, but he's probably going to be chased down here by the Willish. A leap will do. He's going to leap over the Spirit Ball and get the kill there, but now he's in a tough position himself. The Hoonbot's good punch him. Saint Tamp's going to miss the leap. Fireball continue to juke with the speed buff. The teleport is there. Auto attack, just a little bit more damage. The stun is going to be beads away from Fireball. Saint Zaps needs just the overhand smash to get the kill, but here's Mystic trying to get his team out of dodge. He's probably going to fall for this. The Wing Gust is going to be enough. Saint Zaps getting the last hit on that one, but Bungaria is now very low. Jiggamero could be looking for something here on the Medusa, but no, just be a full disengage. Wow, that was quite a skirmish.
Yeah, super long, drawn-out engagement. Good counter rotations and counter ganks coming out from both sides, and overall, Infirmary Gaming able to come out slightly on top thanks to Majin being able to pick up that kill, but this Medusa is going to get slightly ahead in farm, so this early game definitely going the way of Focus, and honestly, that's just the pure nature of their comp versus Infirmary Gaming's comp. Their early game is far better than Infirmary's, so gonna be able to just take those buffs, snowball their lead a bit, and look for an engagement in mid.
And I'm a Monster is gonna hit too. Saint Zaps using Beast trying to get away from more damage. The crush hits as well, but there's just not enough damage on the side of Focus. Only 2 people going in for that fight. Fireball is here as well, but he's once again late to the party. We've been saying this song over and over again, trying to look for something over the wall. Mata is hit by a Spirit Ball, but this speed buff is going to be invaded, and I don't think it can really be defended by any of the players. The Athenas are going to rotate over, and that's just a free buff taken.
Nah, yeah, just even though they didn't secure a kill, they pressured out that Hunbots and this Terra in the mid lane, and be able to just freely secure these right-hand buffs from Infirmary Gaming and just extend their early game lead. And I think the key point here is once they get a decent timing with Scylla ult having pen boots online and maybe Olix with another tier 2 item online, they need to look for a Gold Fury engage so that they can ensure that, okay, we're ahead, let's take advantage of this, force a fight, get a good fight, and then win out from there.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. They're definitely in a good position right now. If you take a look at the gold graphs, about 2,000 gold ahead already, and most of it is just farm and first blood gold. So about 1,300 gold is pretty much just farming, and it's definitely going to be in their favor moving into these mid-game team fights. In addition, you can see how strong that Slayer Prodigy was killed on the right side. I do think I at least missed it there, but that's just going to be an easy cleanup with the Awilish ult. There's not much that Odin can do there, and that's just what we were talking about before.
Willis actually failed to hit her ultimate there. She was trying to pull her out as he jumped away, but slightly out of range. But Odin's jump was already down, and this Willis is so much damage online already.
Yeah, it looks like Gold Fury is actually going to be stolen away in favor of Infirmary. They've already used the Isol Meditation as well. There's just no wards on the map for Focus. It was a good job. Definitely going to worth trading your Soul Laner away, and I think it's just really not understanding how objectives tend to work for Focus. I mean, you just really sit there and just go, wait, we have our jungler that just back on the right side. They're going for gold right now.
Now, yeah, Infirmary Gaming, good awareness and good. Hold that thought. Sinbot's gonna get brought down here.
He's gonna get killed pretty much immediately on the Hoonbots. Had no real chance to escape, and the Willish is gonna get the kill on that one. But yeah, what were you saying there?
As I was saying, Infirmary Gaming, just good awareness, and good on them to have sentry wards up this early on in the game. They're super aware of what their comp is capable of doing, which is these early Gold Furies on top with Isis ult and bots damage and Hui ultimate. They have a lot of Gold Fury potential, which sadly Focus was not aware of. They really messed up their back timings. They weren't aware of where Infirmary were on the map, so really unfortunate. Just good on Infirmary for being super aware with the ward vision as well.
Yeah, I think the current meta season 4 and season 3 you can tell the same way is you can really tell the pulse of the game and how the game's going just by looking at whether whose mid laner is in the middle of the lane and the other one that's in the tower. And right now it's definitely Focus's mid laner that's out pushing these waves up farther. Athena's gonna dash taunt in. Iron Bob's gonna get pulled in as well. There's no real crush damage though. Fireball is here now, but he's a little bit late. He's gonna immune the Spirit Ball, and now they're gonna use meditation. The pull away is gonna be immune by Hoon Bots. The free beads burn. And overall, a Focus getting the more pressure to once again invade the speed, and this timing has been impeccable from them.
No, yeah, just Focus. Either it's just by pure coincidence or just good awareness of that buffs are coming up. Let's try and force the engage here and take the engage. All right, we won the engage. They're poked out. Take their buffs, take their farm, and just take the win. Back up. But what they need to be aware of is this Gold Fury. They need to try and get wards up on it, or at least nearby it, so they can be aware of when this rotation is coming.
So Josh, if you're in Infirmary Gaming's position right now, your buffs are getting invaded on cooldown, you keep getting these engages, what do you do to try to guarantee your buffs?
I think right now they just need to be more aware of their own buff timings. Like, from the looks of it, they're not aware of when their own buffs are coming up, so they're playing super far forward, where an Athena can just abuse them. So they need to be more aware of that, as well as try and, when you do get that cooldown, be there on cooldown right then. Be grouped up as 4 or 5, so that you know when they're coming. You can try and take that engage, because your Terra is level 5, and hopefully not the Mystic here.
Yeah, Hoonbot's actually going to get exploded by I'm a Monster right as Mystic gets taken out. Sentinel over the wall is going to get Scylla out of dodge. That's just going to be a 1-for-1 trade support for jungler in favor of Focus. Jake Amber is going to get out of dodge with a Medusa dash, and that's going to be all she wrote.
No, yeah, I think for the most part, Infirmary Gaming just trying to get oracles there. They weren't able to get them, sadly, and Focus taking advantage of the fact that we're early game. We have we have decent single target right now, and we can just take advantage of that fact and pressure out these fights and force them, make them fight us. If they can't beat us, then we're just gonna keep taking these fights.
Yeah, interestingly enough, taking a look at the builds real quick, we have a wall in the fighting. Both ADCs have opted in Transcendence, but have finished are going to finish their boots before actually finishing the Transcendence. Is this what you see? Is this what's happening really commonly right now, Josh?
No, yeah, most definitely. Just the fact that you're able for 1,500 gold to get a lot more power online than you would honestly get for finishing that Transcendence, along with the mobility and the survivability, and just being able that when there are fights, you're not completely useless in them. So definitely a more efficient manner of going through the boots first rather than
yeah, small little skirmish over here, 1v1 on the right side. Odin ult being used, but Hercules does not really seem to care about it at all. Taunt in onto the Saint Zaps, and he's going to fall very quickly to Athena. Is actually going to get the kill with the 3. I'm Bob now being chased down. Terrell being used as well to try to disengage, but on the prowl is Focus, trying to get more. Double stun into a Spirit Ball. Mod is going to take good damage, but it's not enough to really put him in any real kind of danger right now. And they're just going to rotate over to what looks like a Gold Fury start.
No, yeah, they do have vision of that Gold Fury pit, so they'll be aware of when it spawns. But also on the right-hand side, speed buff is coming up, and Infirmary Gaming needs to be on that timer, but they also need to be aware of that Gold Fury timer as well. But luckily, they do have very, very good vision on that left-hand side, as well as good, decent defensive wards on the right-hand side.
Look at these back camps. Relish is going to knock up Saint Zaps, pull him in as well with the ultimate, and immune the ultimate damage with the Feather Step. Going to get the kill there on Saint Zaps, completely bursted by the full combo of a Willish. This is what a Feather Willish can do to you, Josh.
No, yeah, just being able to pressure out that early game and snowball it from there. Being aware of the fact that the Hunt are down, using it, and then on top of it,
the Feather Step there, shred Prodigy. Does about a quarter of his health right now, and it's just so dangerous that once a Willish gets to this point, you finish the boots, you have Bluestone, you finish the Jotun's Wrath, you start really chunking with Feather Step. And if anybody really gets in your way, they have to focus you down. We've seen multiple times Fireball has actually gotten off the immunity frames from Feather Step to get away from Ice's Spirit Balls, which has also been really good on his end.
Yeah, this is just the signature of a good Awilix player. Just being able to, when you need to, immune what is coming up. Being able, on that backhand aggression, immune the Hunbot still for the kill. And understanding, I have a ton of damage right now. Feather Step should be able to kill him. And it's just what happens when, as you said, this Awilix gets fed.
Just really the snowball. There's some junglers that kind of snowball harder than others. And I definitely say if there's one that snowballs really hard, it would have to be a Willish. She just does so much damage, and she's so hard to kill with the leap away, the immunity frames, and she has the CC from the knockup that once she gets going, it's really hard to stop her, wouldn't you say?
No, yeah, definitely. And then on top of it, Awilix is one of the 2 characters in the game that I say would have the strongest early games in the game. And Awilix just focus being aware of the fact that their early game was incredibly strong, take their buffs, take early fights, win those fights. As I said, snowball.
Yeah, you can just see Sadef doesn't have a jungle. He's going to get knocked up in the back camps again. The same spot, ulted and immune. It's the same story all over again. I feel like I'm getting deja vu here, Josh. Fireball's going to get out once again by Juki's on ability. He's actually not going to go back in. Use Feather Step on this Terra, but there's not much damage. It's all just a bait. It's a bait for the Gold Fury, which is almost completely dead. Fury is not going to be there in time, and Focus is going to be one to pick up a Gold Fury for free.
Yeah, good try from Majin to maybe contest that, but sadly, unless you drop your ult and Ricochet on top of it. Meanwhile, mid lane, I'm Bob getting aggressed on. Gonna survive now.
Yeah, I'm a Monster is actually going to come out. It is going to hit Terra. She's going to fall really quickly, and then all the follow-up damage on a Slayer Prodigy inside of his own ult going to get bursted. Now Hercules is looking to completely zone them out, and this will probably be a T1 tower. And this game has really gone south really fast.
Now, yeah, Focus being able to just snowball their early game lead and take early objectives. Infirmary had that one and good chance where they took that Gold Fury on a rotation to the right-hand side of the map.
Majin Katetsu's almost won the fight against Jikamaru, but actually ends up taking the minions, which take him out. Probably did a solid 150 to 200 damage to him. Unfortunately, the Medusa ult plus the minions was enough to take him out. He was so very close.
Yeah, creeps are just, honestly, they're the strongest thing in this game, let's be honest. Why
Don't
are
let anyone
creeps
ever
so strong?
play different.
And
Pirates
F6
was-
coming out, actually.
Guys, that's going to be the end of the first game of this set. Focus is going to be the team to win here. Unfortunately, we didn't have quite as exciting of an ending, but hopefully the next game will be even more interesting, guys. We'll be right back to show you the stats here, and then we'll show that to you guys. The next game coming up is Game 2 of Focus versus Infirmary Gaming. We will be right back, guys.